boys. We are getting ready to go outside and knock out a couple of projects that definitely need to get fixed. Seems like we've been doing nothing but chasing down broken things lately. The winter was slow. We did a couple of fun projects down here. Also, side note, if you guys have a workspace that's a little dark and you're looking for better lighting, this light that I picked up, oh my god, I don't know what brand it is. This is at Home Depot. It is Beyond Bright is the name of it. This thing is amazing. It's $30 and it fits a standard light fixture. Oh, let me hang it back up here on the ceiling. Alright, but yeah, these little fins, they move and it's just ridiculously bright. This is a regular LED over here that I've been using, and it's kind of a whiter light. This is just bright as hell. So the workspace, we have some light down here now. Anyways, what we're gonna do over the next few hours, this video is gonna jump all over the place. This is kind of more or less a vlog, I guess. We are gonna fix our radiator fan assembly. We ran a relay system into it a while ago because I had a dead short on the radiator fan side. There's an AC fan and a radiator fan in a DSM. The AC fan is the driver's side and the radiator fan is the passenger side. If you guys have been following along, we just built ourselves a 16 gauge heat shield to try to keep the brand new 14-inch Spall radiator fan from getting melted because it was about that close to the back of the manifold down there, the exhaust manifold, and we don't want to cook those. I got this box right here from Harbor Freight with a bunch of 18, 20, 22, 24, and some other oddball wires for 40 bucks. So there's 400 feet of wire there, which is awesome compared to AutoZone. If you pick up a kit from AutoZone, I know you get like 25 feet for $21 now. It's wicked expensive. So we've got our wire. We've got some extra stuff outside, some more tools that I've picked up recently, thanks to you guys. And we're gonna go trace the wiring harness, find the break that's causing our our passenger side radiator fan to blow the fuse every single time it's powered. I haven't been able to find it. It's been going on for about, I don't know, a year and a half now. It's been since I've started having the issue, so I assume it's gonna be a part of the harness where it wiggles and touches metal someplace. So I'm gonna search around the core support. That's where I saw a spot that looked like it might need it. We're gonna go through that. But one of the other things that we gotta work on and replace is these little corner marker bulbs. I have not had corner lamps in that car, or the, underneath the headlights, they're the two little yellow lights. They've been blown for about 15 months, and I just haven't realized. Actually, I realized it about 6 months ago, but it was wintertime. I didn't want to tear the bumper apart, so these are going to come with us. We're going to go outside, start tracing some wires, and this video is going to kind of jump all over the place. Hopefully I can find the issue. I'll share with you guys what I find, and we're going to be wiring in some weather pack connectors. Instead of using butt connectors and crimps and heat shrinks and all that other stuff, we have a nice pack of weather pack connectors that we're going to use. We have some deep pinning tools to take apart plugs, and we're going to simplify some stuff. I also want to delete a couple of the old harnesses that are dangling around the front end of the car that I've kind of zip tied up out of the way. Now I have the means to cut the wires, rewrap, insulate, terminate, all that fun stuff. So we're going to clean up the whole harness on the passenger side, going from the fuse box down to the headlight and across the bottom of the core support. Also going to build ourselves an actual cold air intake system out of some of the extra piping that I have. I have some spare 3-inch pipe, so we're gonna cut that down, and what I want to do is build the intake to come all the way from the turbocharger, go up into the fender, into that stock hole in the fender where the stock charge pipe comes up out for the side mount, and I want to have the air filter under that and just have the pipe go down in that hole. So I don't know, enough talking, let's get outside. Let's see what we got. As you can see, we got everything pulled off the front of this Eclipse. Looking over here, you can see we have a radiator fan on the ground, one of the cheap blue sticker ones from Amazon. And we also have the entire front end pulled off, basically. The intercooler's still in, but we took the radiator out, all the charge piping, and, well, most of the charge piping. And I'm up here with my multimeter and my test leads, and I'm trying to find my dead short. I relayed in my radiator fan a while ago, and that relay is sitting down here on the ground underneath the intake pipe here. I'll show you. That's it right there. You can kind of see it. Let's zoom in a little more. Right there. So basically, I had to relay that in because there was a dead short someplace on the passenger fan. And this fan is the one that I used to signal my radiator fans on through the ECU when it hit 206. Unfortunately for me, every time I would hook them up, it would blow the fuse, which is this fuse right here. It's supposed to be, I think, a 15 amp, or I think a 15 amp, but I got a 20 in it right now. Just bear with me here. I went through everything. I started pulling this loom apart on the harness down here and tracing wires back here. Down in this part right here, I found one part of a wire that looked like it was rubbed out. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So I kept chasing it back and chasing it back. There's a bundle of 4 wires that comes right here. They're in this little conduit lead, and that's your factory radiator fan plug. The other side is the AC side, I believe. This one over here kept blowing breakers, or blowing the fuse, popping the fuse, popping the fuse, popping the fuse. So I went through everything. I tried to trace it back. I could not find any breaks in it, and it just kept popping it, and I couldn't figure out why. So I pulled all this apart. I started hunting through it, and it turned out I snipped it off already, threw it in the bin. On the positive side here, about 3 inches from the end of the plug, was a little piece of wire that had been rubbed down and basically melted to the other wire here, and it was sitting in such a way that it was touching the metal down here on the side of the body coming up through the harness, well, on the inside here. Actually, it was right down back here under this little lip. I can't really show you, it's kind of a hard angle to get to. Down here, it was tucked up under there, and through months and months of vibrations, or years of vibrations, it had worked its way through. And every once in a while, I'd hit a little bump in the road, and the wire would plump up, hit the metal, spark, and pop the fuse. It would be a dead short. So I finally hunted it down, and as you can see, I've got 2 wires here. These are the original. If you're going to rewire your factory fans, you have a 4-wire plug, and the 2 white wires, there's a white with blue and a white with black stripe, are your hot side, and your ground side is the blue wire with green stripe and solid black wire. Now, I went through each wire and tested each configuration first. I tried, there's a high speed and a low speed. So I tried the white wire with the black stripe and the black wire, and then the white wire with the black stripe and the blue wire with the green stripe, and it worked. So then I did the opposite. The white wire with blue stripe with the black wire, white wire with blue stripe with the blue wire with green stripe. It didn't pop my breaker at all. So I believe I found the culprit finally. I got a ton of old electrical tape out of here, a bunch of messed up harness stuff, and down here on the floor, ground, whatever, if I hook up these leads, we have a fan on the one ground side. We have a fan, if we find bare metal, I believe. We have a chassis ground right here, the fan works. And on the other side, if I grab the other ground, we have a fan down there still. So I'm pretty confident in saying that I can finally get rid of the relay system that we had hooked up. We can get rid of all the extra wire loom that I had wrapped across the bottom here, going over to the driver's side AC fan. And we're going to let the ECU control the fans again, finally, because I was stuck either starting the car, the fans put quite a load on your alternator, and when you're starting with warm-up, you'll see your fuel trims tend to go a little nuts. I was about 8 to 10% lean on startups, on cold starts, because the fans were running and they're pulling a lot of amps. So now that I don't have to worry about that, the car should start, warm up faster, and it should also be able to have a closer idle fuel trim and not be so lean. There was about, like I said, an 8 to 12% correction depending on what kind of cold day it was. If it was super cold out, it might be a little bit more than that, but I know the ECU automatically tries to compensate for the cold. So while I'm in here, I've done a bunch of this stuff already. I'm going to fix this wiring loom. I'm going to fix this harness. I went to Harbor Freight and got some wiring loom, some heat shrink, and a bunch of electrical tape. So I'm going to go through and retape all these wraps of wire, re-insulate them, and I'm probably just going to reuse this section right here of conduit for it. And we're going to go through, make it clean, make it so it doesn't ever spark or break or rub again, hopefully. And there's a couple other plugs that I had on this little section here. I'm also going to try to delete those, just terminate them inside of the harness before I wrap it all back up. There was like a factory boost solenoid, a couple other little things in here. I'm going to keep the wiring exposed for the stock boost control solenoid in case I ever want to run like a 3-port or something like that. But right now, my issue is solved. I was thinking about also short routing my intercooler pipe while I'm in here, because instead of having it come from here, which this is the boost line, this is the line from the turbo, it goes in on the bottom, and then over there on the top side, the pipe comes down and across, and it would go wrap around up through the fender wall and then up to the throttle body. I was thinking short routing it a little bit better under through here, and just letting it go back up to the throttle body from there. I have that new intercooler pipe that I built before, so I think what I can do is actually snip the end off, or cut the end off rather, turn it about 30 to 40 degrees so it comes out and goes down instead, and I can just put my 90 degree coupler here, use a 45 to bring it, so it'll go 90 this way, then 45 to bring it into the car, and then have the other pipe come down and connect with another 90 degree coupler. Essentially, I'm going to delete all these couplers in the summertime here once the weather gets a little nicer out, but I figured I'd share this one with you guys because it was one that was plaguing me for quite a while, and I was waiting for a nice day to come out here and do all this, because, I mean, you see what it is. Huge pile of parts over here. You're basically ripping the whole front end of the car off. So I'm going to try to fix a couple of issues that I've had, and hopefully this will get rid of the temperamental radiator fan setup. We deleted some extra wiring. It'll clean some stuff up. And I can also flip my big spall fan from the driver's side with the big motor where there's no space over to the passenger side on the radiator, so I can put the smaller one in front of the heat shield that we just built. Even it'll open up space, give us a little bit more room. So it's been a long day, a lot of talking. I'm gonna keep after this. I'm gonna clean all this dirt and dust out and start fixing all this mess. So anyways, boys, I'll have a progress update here in a little while. I'm going to post this as a regular upload also, and we're just going to keep tackling it and working our way through it. All right, guys, so I said earlier this is a little not normal, basically something different. I usually record with this whole setup that I have. Anyways, I'm just holding my Pixel 6 Pro and recording this stuff, so I apologize if the audio is funny or whatever. I've got everything pulled apart. Again, I found my break in my wire. I just finished recovering all of this wiring harness, and the bottom section down here I've put back together and crimped it over because it was all kind of opened up. This is open just a little bit. Before it was like hanging out really wide, so down here is put back together. Let's see. I've gone through and tested all the fans that I have, made sure the circuits are working correctly, and they are. I have installed some fresh weather pack connectors here. These are super nice. I got a whole kit right here, which I can link in the video description. This comes with 6-pin plugs, 5-pin, 4-pin, 3-pin, 2-pin, and single-pin plugs. Comes with both male and female pieces and all the insulators. I also got a kit of wire in case I needed to rebuild that harness from prior that's over here on the ground with the relay. Thank God I didn't have to do that, because I didn't like the look of that, and I didn't like the functionality of it. So now what we're going to do, I just got these fans mounted up. This is a Spall 12-inch. This is a Spall 14. And I just got this Spall 14 to fit. If you look, it's at the end of the radiator here, and the other mounting point is at the top of the radiator. This 14-inch, two 14s will fit. They're just a strain on your electrical system. So 12s is usually as far as you go. And the beauty of this radiator also, it comes with these additional provisions for the stock hard lines that run across for the EGR evap system. What I use these for, I'll show you. Instead of, if your 14-inch doesn't fit, this is what I did. I got a 10mm bolt, and I made a little bracket here. And basically what you do, you make a simple little arm that can pinch the back of the fan, and you get a 10mm, and you screw it in like so, and it holds the fan in place. So that way you don't have to zip tie it or use the AutoZone hangers that, the little fan installation kit, the little plastic rods that you push through. This was just a little arm to hold onto the back of this fan when it was on the driver's side. Now it's on the passenger side. So all that work with the heat shield will hopefully save this fan. We don't need the bracket anymore. I do have some more of that Mylar, so I'm going to make another piece of Mylar to go over that to save this fan from the untimely demise of melting it from heat. And you can see that heat shield doesn't look terrible. It's going to do its job. Anyways, I'm going to get this radiator thrown back in here. Cleaned up a bunch of wiring mess, fixed a couple of problems that I had. And also, if some of you guys were curious, I know one of you guys messaged me a while back and I didn't get to your response right away, obviously. And I apologize to whomever that was. In order to get both fans to turn on at the same time whenever one's commanded on, if you want your AC fan, which is the driver's side fan, and the regular radiator fan, which is on the passenger side, to turn on at the same time together, commanded by the ECU, all you have to do is go to relay number 2 and relay number 5. And what you do is you jump a little wire in between the center pin here and the center pin here on this relay. Now when the ECU commands the one fan on, it's going to close the circuit here and turn the second fan on, so they're both always going to run no matter what. If you don't want that, you just remove the wire. Super simple little jumper wire. The other relay that I had hooked up has, the one that was mounted over here, has its 12 volt power wire here. I got to delete that still, so I'm just kind of tucking that out of the way. Also, when testing these fans, I learned you don't want to leave them laying on top of the motor or anything and then turn the key on to test them, because they're torquey. They pull a lot of power, and the 12-inch one, I had it sitting up top here. I thought it was braced enough, but it wasn't. It actually jumped and started swinging right there, just from turning the car on to test it. When it powers on, it's really, really torquey. So anyways, that's the progress update. Another thing, I've been looking at all this front mount stuff, and we still have AC in this car. I like having AC in the car, but I can also see, I don't know if you can tell, let me zoom in. These look pretty dirty. So the little pleats that are in between each one of the fins of this radiator, or the AC condenser here, they look like they're full of dirt and dust. I think that that's also contributing to not being able to keep my temps down under 206. My car likes to climb right to 206. I know that's normal operating temperature when it kicks the fans on at 206. But I've also found information that says when the radiator fans come on at 206, the ECU automatically pulls 1 degree of timing, and then every 3 or 5 degrees after that, it pulls another half a degree or to 2 degrees, something like that. Anyways, 206 pulls a degree of timing. I'm going to work on a solution for this. I also think that having this intercooler pipe draped right across the top here, kind of blocking off all the airflow, is causing a major problem with this. And I don't have a solution for this quite yet, other than a short route intercooler system. This is one of the copycat VRSF style ones with the pipe that goes, that's the charge pipe from the turbo. Then this goes down, around, and up to your throttle body. I'm thinking about changing this whole setup around and just looking at the options. I could technically flip the intercooler and let the charge pipe run down through the bottom. I think that might work. So I don't know. I'm going to mess around with the idea and see if I can figure out an easy solution to this. Maybe I'm going to do that tomorrow. I don't know yet. But this is kind of an all over the place video. I didn't really plan this one out. Just figured I'd bring you guys along. So anyways, radiator's ready to go back in. So next step is cutting another Mylar patch to fit on that side. And I guess it never hurts to have heat reflective tape or heat reflective barrier on the back of the motors of these Spall fans. So we're just going to leave it like that. A little bit on both. I guess I'll give you guys another update as soon as I get some more progress knocked out. All right, boys, we are still out here. It's about 10:30 at night. I've got a lot done. I've done some more changes / repairs on this whole thing. So far, these are the new plugs with the weather pack connectors installed on the fans. I'm not sure where I sent this one off to yet. I don't think I have it plugged in yet. But anyways, I've done some small adjustments here. The upper intercooler pipe now reaches, instead of coming, it used to go from here off to the side 90 and down through that hole. I actually twisted it just a bit and it actually fit perfectly. I had some extra, I had a 45-degree coupler for right there, and I also had a bubble coupler for down here that fit perfectly. And what I did was I somewhat short routed it. I like it so far, and I've also got a little space here. You can't really tell, but if I pick this up, I can fit a 3-inch pipe right between here. Now that's the diameter of the intake system on this 20G turbo is a 3-inch. So what I'm going to do is use some of the spare intake, or some of the spare exhaust pipe rather, that I have in the basement from my 3-inch exhaust build. We have a 3-inch downpipe all the way out the back if you haven't followed along. We built that from scratch and I have a ton of extra pipe left over. I'm going to use that, come off the turbocharger, feed in through here, go down through this hole, and that's going to feed a cold air intake. I'm going to mount my filter right down here, right in front of the splash guard, and these are the fins for the stock side mount intercooler. So I'm making some progress. I think what I'm going to have to do, because this kind of goes in at a weird angle, I don't know if you can can't really see it right now, it's kind of dark out, but it kind of goes back at like a 25-degree angle. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, actually you can see if I look straight down, it's not a straight shot, so I'm going to have to go, basically it's going to come up through here and then 90 down, then 45 forward, and I'm going to mount my air filter down there. And once I have the bumper put back on, right about this area down here is where the stock side mount intercooler opening is for the airflow to go through the side mount intercooler and through that grate out the wheel well. I think what I can do is possibly block off that so no water gets blasted up in there if I hit a puddle, if it's raining or anything like that. And I'll just cover that up with a piece of plastic. I have a Harbor Freight plastic weld kit and it works great. It's like a high power soldering gun or soldering iron, and you can actually solder those plastic pieces shut. I have a sheet of ABS plastic left over. I'll make a little piece, probably 6 by 5.5 or 6 by 5, and plastic weld that to cover these little vents to keep the air filter from getting any water in it. And I'm going to mount my air filter down in here, and it's going to pull air from down through this little vent that comes from the bumper. And that hole over there next to the fog light is kind of what I'm talking about. Let me show you. If this is mounted on the car, you got your fog light. This is where the air would go through, hit the side mount intercooler factory, and then blow through the wheel arch there where the slots are. So if I put my air filter in here, I'm thinking it should be someplace like right back in here and just hang out there. So I'm not 100% for sure yet, but I'm going to try to do this. Hopefully we can have better IATs, better coolant temps, and hopefully less pressure drop with our intercooler system, because we deleted, I don't know, 2 feet worth of elbows, I'd say. Close enough to 2 feet, 18 inches, something like that. We are at the end of tonight, which is basically day 1 of messing around with all this stuff. I just figured I'd give you a quick progress update. This is going to be my new intake pipe. Ignore the squiggle. Got a little excited with the Sharpie. It's going to hook up to the front of the turbocharger here, and it's going to route over here. There's going to be 1 coupler down there, 1 coupler right there, so I can keep that 2 pieces to get it together. And I'm going to route it down here, so hopefully this will work. Anyways, that's gonna come to a close for today. I gotta pack up all this stuff real fast. It's about 1:15 a.m. We'll see you guys in the morning. Okay guys, it's the next day. We were out here working on this until about 2 o'clock in the morning, just trying to knock stuff out. So far, I've got everything put back together. The headlights are just sitting in there for right now. I gotta bolt them in. Let's get after it. I'll see you guys in a little bit with my finished intake system. I'm gonna go try to put all this together, give it a quick coat of paint. make sure it fits right before I final weld everything. And yeah, let's get it done. One other thing that I did want to mention, our homemade catch can is working perfectly. It's catching condensed water vapor and all that, and there's a lot of condensation that collects in it. The level is underneath that elbow so far, so you can't really see any fluid in it. But if I open it up, let me show you. If I crack this down here, it's going to drain right there on the bottom. There, you can see some of it coming out. I don't want to dump it all there, but it's got vapor in it. It's working great. And right here on the front of the turbocharger, you can kind of see there's oil and crap on the inlet there. I'm going to wipe all that down. And this is our old intake pipe. This is from the PCV, or the valve cover vent line. This just had a bunch of oil in it. You can kind of see there's oil on the edges of it here. And we don't want that. This has oil on the outer edge of it. Just not a lot, just a little tiny bit of it. I plastic welded this on here to hook up the catch can return line. We're going to have to do something different because we're using metal pipe now. We're going to clean and save these couplers and clamps because we're going to use one coupler at the turbo and one coupler at the elbow that goes down into the fender for the air filter right here. Anyways, let's get after it. I'll see you guys back here in a second with some updates. Well, boys, we've been out here all day working on all these little things. The front mount intercooler, I had to notch out a part of the support down here to make this pipe fit through. Part of the crash bar where it bolts up. We've got the intercooler back in. All the clamps are tight. And while I was down here, I plastic welded a patch over the vent fins here for the stock side mount intercooler. You'll see our air filter is sitting in here. Oh, and I replaced my little corner markers in the bumper, those bulbs. We've got our intercooler charge piping setup. We've got coolant back in the car, and the new cold air intake system is all built and painted with wrinkle black, and I have to build some sort of brace to hold it here. I was thinking maybe some angle steel or something and have it just bolt into this clamp, drill a hole and put a riv nut down in here so I can just bolt it in, or maybe use this bolt right here to hold around the edge of the pipe there. I'll make a bracket or something in the future, but for right now, I just wanted to get all this stuff put in here. We've got our catch can hooked up to a steel fitting. Our coolant overflow jug is in the back now instead of in the front, but our line is ran out and all that stuff is good. The only thing that I'm not happy with right now is my blow-off valve hose, the vacuum hose. Seems a little tight, but I think it'll be all right. I have tons of vacuum hose if not, but this is where we're at so far. Everything has gone back together great, so now all that's left is to throw the front bumper back on, which is right over here, and then we will be done with this project. I'm going to test the lights, test the fans real fast before I put everything back together, and I guess I'll update you guys once it's all warmed up and running. All the bulbs work, the fans are turning on, they're set in ECM link to be on at all times. I'm going to turn that off during my first heat cycle with this to purge the coolant system of any air. But that's where we're at right now. I figured I'd share that with you guys. And yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff put away real quick. Keep on pushing along. Well, boys, we got her all put back together. Letting her do a quick cycle right now with the, let's see up under there. We've got that bleeder funnel inside of the thermostat housing there. Trying to refill and burp the coolant system. A ton of bubbles just keep coming out. Just random spurts. I backed it out of the driveway. I'm on kind of an incline. Oh, sounds like my fan's just turned on. 206 on the pin. That is awesome. That was something I was kind of worried about, but now that we found our problem, I guess we don't have to worry too much anymore. And look at that, 206, the temps are dropping down. We're at 203, we're at 200. And I took out the wire that was joining the two relays from the AC fan and the radiator fan, so that only one will run at a time, and that'll keep the amperage load a little bit lighter on the system. Well, look at that, we hit 206, dropped it down to 196, and the fan shut off. So that makes me super happy. You have no idea how long I have waited for this to be fixed and waited for a nice day for me to come out here and just start work on this stuff. It's been an absolute pain. Let me brighten it up in here a little bit. Anyways, boys, we've got 196 again. I'm going to let it go up to 206 one more time. Once it hits 206, I'm going to turn the heat on full throttle. I already had it on full throttle for a while. I know it's one of the specifications for proper bleeding, but I'm happy with this so far. I'm actually, I'm kind of psyched right now. Let me roll my windows up. I'm going to close the hatch. All my tools are put away. Here, we're going to listen. See if you can hear this. All right, that's 206 again. I'm gonna let it go back down to 196 one more time with the heat on full throttle. Should drop relatively fast. Either way, I no longer have to leave ECM link fans on all the time, or fans always active, or whatever it is. And I don't have to worry about the car taking twice as long to warm up. I don't have to worry about one fan turning on, one fan not turning on. I've got nice weather pack connectors in there, so they should both hold up to the test of time. I definitely will keep you guys updated. Now, I'm going to turn this thing off, let it suck in whatever coolant it's going to suck in, and pack up the rest of this stuff. I'm going to call that a win, boys. Looks like we knocked all this stuff out. We found our wiring problem. We changed our intake system just a bit. I'm thrilled with it. I'll let you guys know in the next video how everything's going. Well, boys, got everything hooked up in this car, and I'm out testing it out. Everything is great. I actually turned the boost down to 20 pounds just to make sure I didn't blow any coolant pipes, or not coolant pipes, boost pipes. Didn't blow any boost pipes off or anything like that. Yeah, I've been having a blast. This thing drives better. The blow-off valve, you can hear it. It's a little bit more snappy. I guess there's probably not as much of a pressure drop, being that we deleted about 2 feet of piping from it. My cruising temps used to stay around 196 to 203. Now they're down to 193 and staying steady. Seems like the adjustments that I made in the front end have helped promote a little bit more airflow through the radiator. I cleaned out the AC condenser and all the little spots in between it that had a bunch of crap inside of them. I just blasted them out real quick. They were full of dirt, little pebbles and stuff, so I sprayed them out from inside the engine bay out toward the front just to make sure everything was cleaned out of them. Yeah, well, I'm just having fun. So oh, she's way more snappy. Got up to pretty fast. That's my little straightaway testing ground, and don't tell anybody. We definitely just hit 80 miles an hour. Yeah, this thing drives a lot better with the charge system fixed, the extra pipe out of there, a couple of minor modifications done. I'm happy with it. Anyways, boys, just wanted to throw this in there before I sign out for the night. Thanks for watching this one. It's been fun. I'll see you guys in the next one when we start doing some real upgrade stuff. Now that we've sorted out some problems, I'm just super excited right now to be in some warm weather. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. You guys take care. Check us out on Instagram. Check out the todaysprojectguide.com merchandise store if you want to pick up a t-shirt or sticker or hat or anything weird. Check it out. There's a lot of DSM stuff on there, a lot of cool designs. But anyways, you boys take care. We'll see you in the next one.